Annie Jacobsen's book, Surprise, Kill, Vanish: The Secret History of CIA Paramilitary Armies, Operators, and Assassins, takes readers on a journey through the shadows of American covert action, from World War II to the War on Terror. On December 7, 1941, the world changed forever with the Imperial Japanese Army's attack on Pearl Harbor. The U.S. Pacific Fleet was destroyed, and thousands of Americans were dead. This moment marked the beginning of a new era in American foreign policy. The United States, traditionally reluctant to engage in covert operations, was now thrust into a world where diplomacy and conventional warfare were no longer sufficient. The National Security Act of 1947 formalized this shift, establishing the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, and granting it the authority to conduct covert actions, operations designed to influence events abroad without the U.S. government's hand being visible. The Office of Strategic Services, OSS, the precursor to the CIA, was the first to embrace unconventional warfare. During World War II, the OSS trained and equipped resistance fighters in Nazi-occupied Europe, employing tactics that were considered ungentlemanly by traditional military standards. One of the most daring OSS operations was the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, the architect of the final solution. Two Czech commandos, Jan Kubis and Josef Gabčík, trained by the British Special Operations Executive, SOE, carried out the assassination in 1942. The operation was a success, but it came at a high cost. The Nazis retaliated brutally, massacring the village of Lidice and killing thousands of Czech civilians. The SOE, known as Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, operated in the shadows, using sabotage, subversion, and assassination to weaken the Nazi war machine. The concept of plausible deniability was born, allowing governments to deny involvement in operations that might otherwise provoke scandal or international condemnation. After World War II, the CIA inherited the mantle of the OSS and expanded its covert operations. In Guatemala, the CIA orchestrated a coup d'etat in 1954, overthrowing the democratically elected President Jacobo Arbenz and installing a pro-American dictator. The operation was a success, but it had unintended consequences. Among those radicalized by the coup was a young Argentine doctor named Ernesto Che Guevara, who would go on to become a symbol of revolutionary struggle across Latin America. In Iran, the CIA orchestrated another coup in 1953, overthrowing Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and restoring the Shah Pahlavi to power. The operation was a turning point in U.S.-Iranian relations, setting the stage for decades of mistrust and hostility. The CIA's covert actions were not limited to coups. In the early 1960s, the agency trained and equipped Cuban exiles for an invasion of Cuba, culminating in the disastrous Bay of Pigs operation. The failure of the invasion was a humiliating blow to the Kennedy administration and led to a re-evaluation of the CIA's role in covert operations. The CIA's covert actions often involved morally questionable tactics, including assassination. The agency's assassination program, known as Executive Action, targeted foreign leaders and other high-profile individuals deemed threats to U.S. interests. One of the most controversial figures in this program was Felix Rodriguez, a Cuban exile who worked for the CIA. Rodriguez was involved in the capture and execution of Che Guevara in Bolivia in 1967. He later admitted to swapping Che's Rolex watch for his own, a macabre memento of the operation. The CIA's assassination program was officially terminated in 1976, but the agency continued to engage in targeted killings, albeit under a different guise. The concept of preemptive neutralization emerged, allowing the CIA to kill individuals who posed a threat to U.S. security before they could act. In the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, the CIA once again found itself at the forefront of America's covert wars. The agency established a secretive unit known as the Stalker team, tasked with tracking down and neutralizing high-value targets around the world. The Stalker team operated in the shadows, using surveillance, reconnaissance, and lethal force to disrupt terrorist operations. The unit's work was so secret that it required its own cover story within the CIA. The team was authorized to use all lawful means to eliminate threats, a mandate that blurred the lines between intelligence gathering and assassination. The use of assassination as a foreign policy tool raises profound moral and ethical questions. In Afghanistan, ground branch operators, the CIA's paramilitary arm, faced the grim realities of counterinsurgency warfare. They trained and fought alongside Afghan soldiers, many of whom were poorly trained, illiterate, and often high on drugs. The moral dilemmas they faced were compounded by the rampant corruption and abuse within the Afghan military. The concept of plausible deniability shielded U.S. presidents from accountability for the actions of their covert operatives. The use of drones and other remote killing technologies further distanced policymakers from the human cost of their decisions. The legacy of America's covert wars is complex and contentious. The use of assassination as a political tool has been normalized, mechanized, and industrialized. The CIA's targeted killing programs have become a cornerstone of U.S. counterterrorism strategy, with drones and other remote technologies replacing the human operatives of the past. The moral and ethical implications of these programs continue to be debated. The question of whether assassination can ever be justified in the name of national security remains unanswered. As Billy Waugh, a veteran of 6 decades of covert operations, once said, "War is wicked, violent, and treacherous, a horror of chaos, anarchy, and revenge." The hidden hand of covert action has shaped the course of history, often with unforeseen and far-reaching consequences. As we grapple with the challenges of the 21st century, the lessons of the past serve as a reminder of the dangers inherent in the pursuit of power and the moral complexities of fighting a war without rules. This has been a BrightLearn video from BrightLearn.ai on the book Surprise Kill Vanish, The Secret History of CIA Paramilitary Armies, Operators and Assassins by Jacobsen. Visit BrightLearn.ai for more fascinating videos like this one, and visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage and breaking news on critical stories that keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.